Hello and welcome to Audiobook Connection, behind the scenes with the creative teams. I'm Becky Parker-Geist and I'm your host. Audiobook Connection is your place to learn about the audiobook creative process and for authors to learn valuable tips on producing and marketing your audiobooks. This podcast is sponsored by Pro Audio Voices, helping great stories come alive through audiobook production and marketing. Hi, thank you for tuning in. Today, I want to focus on AMPlify Audiobooks, which is our new platform that is disrupting the industry. I want to talk a little bit more about why we're disrupting the industry, why it needs to be disrupted, and what we're doing to take action, as well as some of the challenges, the behind the scenes of what's been going on, why is it taking so long, and just give you some insider view of what we're going through at Pro Audio Voices as we launch the new author direct sales platform for audiobooks, AMPlify Audiobooks. So let's start off with the problem as we've seen it. And we've been seeing this problem for many years. The challenge for authors who are producing their books, their audiobooks, and getting them out into the world. Typically, authors are great people who are trying to have a positive impact. And most often, we're creating content that is going to be valuable or entertaining, which is also valuable. We all need entertainment. We need ways to escape out of our day-to-day, both because it can enlighten us and inspire us. And those are so important, especially when day-to-day seems particularly challenging. We have authors who are creating great content and doing all of the creative work, doing the financing the project, and that can be from the beginning. It's typically including editing, proofreading, book layout and design. There's a lot that goes into the print process as well as the ebook process. And when it comes to the creation of the audiobook, that's also an expensive prospect. We're really talking about authors who are very committed to their work and to their audiences and really funding and financing their journey. And for these authors, it's really important most of the time. Not always. Some have plenty of enough funding in their lives to where it's not an issue if they are losing money or not making it back. But most typically, most authors really need to get some return on all of that investment. And as well, many authors would really like to be full-time authors. They would like their writing career to be able to support them so that they can have food on the table, a roof over their heads, clothing, the basics of life, at least. There are many people who are authors and not many of those who are able to make a living from their work. But they're passionate. And that is one of the things that I find so inspiring and exciting about being part of that author community. It is that passion that moves us all forward with our own projects. I'm president of Bay Area Independent Publishers Association. I'm in my, I think it's 10th year as president, and I've been with the organization serving on their board, and then before that as a member for even more years. And I find it a very inspiring place to be, an exciting place to be. And so what I share here on this podcast, but also in my work with Pro Audio Voices, what I share is informed by what I'm seeing in the indie publishing world as well, very heavily. Coming back to what's been going on in the industry and I'm talking about specifically right now, the audiobook industry. What is making that so problematic? What do I see as the real challenges? Well, for years, it's been clear that the people who are really making money in the audiobook industry, not so much the authors, although some are succeeding in it, but mostly it's the retailers, the ones who have the storefronts And the one who has the biggest storefront, the biggest footprint, the biggest presence in the audiobook world is Audible. And sadly, they are also the ones that pay out the smallest in royalties. Now, one of the things that I also find especially challenging and problematic is the lack of transparency. This also extends into other areas of the indie publishing world, but I understand why platform distributors, retailers will make it look like authors are going to earn a lot more than they actually do. I understand why they put misleading information very boldly on their website. And if they're going to provide additional information about the real picture, the full picture, they'll tuck it away inside FAQs at best, or maybe even deep inside of one of those lengthy contracts that rarely people actually read before they sign digitally. Yet the lack of transparency about what authors will actually get paid, or I should probably say rights holders actually will get paid, is problematic, really because it's so misleading that what I have seen again and again is authors will do all that it takes to get their audiobooks produced, and then they start seeing royalties come in and they go, what? Why is it so small? If my book is selling for $24.95, why do I get less than $2 back on that, on a sale, or less than $1, or nothing at all? How can there be sales where I'm not getting any revenue at all? So it is looking at that experience for authors and knowing I have such a heart for authors who are really doing their best to figure it out and get the word out and tackle marketing, which is something that's typically not in their wheelhouse, but they're willing to do it because they care about their work. And to see what then happens when, there's sort of can be a crushing blow, at least initially, to realize. Seeing this and having caring so much about authors has really made me want for many years to be able to provide a solution where authors can get much more royalties, much more control than they can ever get in the retail market. It's just not available anywhere as far as I can see. There are some solutions that have come out really recently where there are some companies now making it possible for you to deliver an audiobook, which is a complex set of files, a package of files, to be able to deliver that effectively to the listener. And that's really a big part of the challenge that has been facing any kind of direct sale option. Well, and that's great. I'm really glad that those exist. And for some authors, they're working really well. Now, the challenge in that arena is that although we know that authors are the ones who are mostly driving traffic to their sales page, no matter where it is, if your book or books are the only ones on your sales page, then while that might seem good for you, it also is limiting because there's not the opportunity for other authors with a similar target audience who can then find your book when they're looking at someone else's. So this is where the retail audiobook market is very helpful because on a retail platform, you can see lots of other books. And so the discoverability possibility increases. Now, when you have a giant platform such as Audible, the discoverability possibility decreases again because there is so much competition that you almost disappear. Yes, there are ways when you start using their filters that you can start to get closer to being discoverable, especially if you are in a genre that is less competitive. But let's say if you're in general fiction, man, that is tough, right? It's tough in all the different formats, no matter how great your book is. These are some of the challenges that we've been looking at and facing. Let's take just a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about AMPlify, and then I'm going to give you some behind-the-scenes, what's happening. And I haven't shared any of this before, so I hope you'll stick with us. We'll be right back.
Frustrated by the royalty rates for your audiobook? Annoyed that when the digital distributors say 70%, they actually mean 70% of 50% or 80% of 70%? Neither of which is an actual 70%. Wishing there was a way to cut out, or at least shrink the middleman. Yet, you want your audiobook listeners to have a smooth and positive experience, and a direct download sale from your website won't deliver that. Pro Audio Voices hears you. Out of our commitment to our author clients, we've created AMPlify, a program that provides an actual 65% royalties of the price you set, that gives you access to your customers' names and emails so you can reconnect with them, and keeps you in the driver's seat. Check it out at proaudiovoices.com in the marketing menu.
Okay, so looking at all of those problems in the industry is what led us to be very eager to find a solution and to be able to create more of a direct sale option available for our clients. And we initially launched AMPlify a couple years ago in an early form, and we found a delivery system that seemed like it was going to be effective. And so we were functioning with that model. Wasn't quite what we were ultimately after, but it did give us a way to move forward and take a step. So it was like a phase 1 step in the direction that we wanted to go. Well, last fall, maybe it was summer of 2022, one of our AMPlify author clients, we were talking with them, and I also had experienced some frustration around the delivery system and the way that was playing out. Some of the controls that we really want to have in any audiobook listening experience were not available or were not clear as to how to implement those tools. I did communicate with that developer about the problems. They were supposedly solved, but it was not as clean and clear and easy a solution for our users and specifically our listeners as we were hoping for. That set us on the path of looking, especially because we got a referral from this client for somebody who might be able to actually help us build the app. And it seemed pretty clear that what we really needed for a smooth, overall positive experience was an app for listening to audiobooks. And we started off down this path, and then when we got to the point after doing some work on the website to be ready for the app, we then were told, oh no, I can't do it after all. But this person recommended a couple teams through Upwork that he said he was recommending. So we went with one of those teams, and after some months of missed deadlines and many challenges where we kept being told that, no, it's not actually possible because of your website and the way that it's structured, and that didn't all sound right. But we then got to where we had someone else come in, a developer that we knew, who was a friend, who was highly skilled, and asked him to meet with that team and to let us know if he could help us either communicate better with them about what was needed or figure out what was going on. We learned at that point that the team that we were working with turned out to not have the skills that we needed to be able to move forward in a safe and positive way. Thankfully, the developer that we're now working with said that he was willing to take the project on. So we feel extremely fortunate that we've been able to work with him. And at the point that I'm recording this, we have already submitted the app to the iTunes store, and we're trying to resolve a few things that are unclear about their guidelines for apps and to get it so that it's actually live. Hopefully, by the time you hear this, it will be live. But so this is truly a peek behind the scenes of what's been going on. Our team has been meeting with both our web developer, the awesome Jeffrey Samarano, and also our app developer, the awesome Jackson Calloway, to be able to create and integrate all the details that are extremely complex to be able to make all of this come together and work effectively and get approved by the Apple Store. We will then proceed with getting it onto Google Play for Android phones. And then as we beta test that and get feedback from people, then we will be building towards what the next upgrade will be. Because we do see this as an ongoing project that we'll always be looking to what's our next level. What can we do next? Right now, we're in phase 2 of the AMPlify Audiobooks platform. However, even though the app is not quite live yet, the app being the delivery system for our listeners, you can go to the website store and you can go to AMPlifyAudiobooks.com to get to the store and see that we have many authors already on the platform ready to go. For authors who are not yet on the platform, you have a tremendous opportunity right now if you go and get signed up. You can go to proaudiovoices.app to learn more about the author side of things. We just really care about authors and helping you succeed. The self-serving part of that is when authors can be earning good returns from their audiobooks, they're more likely to create more audiobooks. But honestly, I've been serving as a volunteer as president of Bay Area Independent Publishers Association for so many years, and I wouldn't be doing that if I didn't really care about indie authors and just authors in general, trying to make this world a better place. I firmly believe that we live as story. We are story. We experience our lives as story. And so audiobooks are an opportunity for each of us to keep modifying our own story, to keep growing and changing and making this world a better place. So I hope that you will join the movement and be part of AMPlify Audiobooks. If you are an audiobook author, someone who has a book already in audio, you are welcome to become part of our platform. I highly encourage it. Again, go to proaudiovoices.app to go directly to that page. If you go to proaudiovoices.com, you'll still get there. You just have to click another link in the menu to find the spot in the distribution section. If you are a listener, if you're not an author, but you love listening to audiobooks, please join us. Just go to amplifyaudiobooks.com. You can actually purchase already. It's set up as pre-order. What that pre-order means is that the audiobook is complete and ready. We're just waiting for the app to be finalized. We have several next step sort of contingency plans in terms of if the App Store sends us this direction or that direction, we have solutions. We're just trying to pick to best understand what they are requiring from us so that we can meet those needs and provide at the same time this best experience possible for you, our authors, and our listeners. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this episode. If you would please share it with others, just share the link. And it's a movement. We're doing something big. We're disrupting the industry because it needs disrupting. If we're not making it possible for authors to earn a return from their audiobooks, it's just not a sustainable model. And it hasn't been. So let's change that together. I'll see you on AMPlifyAudiobooks.com. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us for Audiobook Connection, behind the scenes with the creative teams. Please take a moment to subscribe at audiobookconnection.com. The podcast is sponsored by Pro Audio Voices, helping great stories come alive through audiobook production and marketing. Learn more at proaudiovoices.com. Again, thanks for being with us, and please join us next week.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.